As we descend into the shadows of Royston Cave, we walk past a man-sized indentation in the cave known as the Grave. Its name suggests burial, yet its purpose is far more complex, far more enigmatic. Above us, entrances once stood 17 feet high. Post holes along the walls hint at a spiral staircase hugging the circular walls. Fragments of thick oak support this vision of a structure built for visiting royals. Bones were found here, including human skulls, but also animal remains: boar, wolves, elk and bears, creatures extinct in Britain for over a millennium. While the grave itself may not have held the dead, these bell-shaped caves were widely used across Europe. Egyptians, Scythians, Etruscans, Romans built puticoli. Royston's design may have drawn inspiration from bell chambers in Palestine, transformed into chambers of instruction, cloaked in mystery. The carvings tell a story of time. St. Christopher carries the baby Jesus across the river Styx. His effet was usually placed at the entrance to sacred bindings as symbolic of being welcomed into the Catholic faith. William Stukely, 18th century antiquarian, theorized that since this carving is twice as large as any other carving in the cave, that it may have been carved during the height of St. Christopher's popularity, dating him during Templar times in 1185. Similarly, another Templar favourite saint holds a prominent position in the cave and has become its most notable carving. St. Catherine, holding the famous torture device that killed her and turned her into a martyr, the Templars won a great victory on her feast day in 1177. In fact, a Knights Templar who lived in the area of Royston fought at that very battle. With the St. Catherine stands, her headdress linking her to Egyptian royalty. Following the Templars' victory in 1177, she gained prominence. Local patrons, such as William de Magnaville, helped promote her veneration. Her image helps date the carvings and shows Crusader influence and Templar devotion. One day at Royston Cave, during the last tour of the day, an unusual visitor made a lasting impression. I shared Rosicrucian connections. One man stayed behind, tall, red-headed, black leather. He began criticizing the comparison I drew between the story of the boy who was lowered by rope into the cave to Freemasonic rituals. He also seemed to dislike my pointing out other Masonic symbols in the cave. He challenged me after the other visitors left. Fortunately for me, I was not alone this time. There was a representative from the cave group and my daughter there with me. He began to angrily argue, and I challenged him by pointing out other Masonic symbols. He whispered, loud enough for my daughter and Nina to hear, "Bitch!" He was escorted out, leaving me shaken. A week later, the same man returned, bringing an older, heavier man. They confronted me about the Sheila na gig. The older man said, "She is an old crone with a long-hanging vulva." I then told him my theory that the Sheila na Giz was actually the Fisher King, or a symbol of a Masonic ritual, and said, "I see no long vulva." I smiled. "You are probably right. I'm glad I finally got to say vulva. Thanks for coming." They left, and I locked the cave, reflecting. These men were guardians of the secret knowledge embedded in the cave. The controversial carved figure has been misidentified as a Sheila na gig, but it is not. The figure lacks the features of a Sheila na gig, which is usually a seated older woman with her legs spread and holding her vulva. The figure on the wall was different. Bald, square-shouldered and standing upright. Some speculate Saul, others the Fisher King. Stripped of crown and clothing, the figure may reflect vulnerability, moral challenge, or initiation. I will show in part the third that his placement puts him squarely into the mythic story of the Fisher King. In Rosicrucian teaching, the fourth stage tests obedience to a master. The figure could symbolize this initiation, as its placement holds that possibility. In part 3, you will see how the symbolism overlaps, so that no Christian motifs were interwoven with Templar and later Masonic symbolism. Freemasonry's third-degree ritual embodies death and rebirth. The initiate is symbolically struck down with a rope around the neck, representing the end of the old self, before being reborn into understanding and moral enlightenment. The grave could have been the perfect setting for such a ritual because there are several symbols carved above it, symbolizing going from darkness to the light, in keeping with the third degree of Freemason rituals. The grave, the saints, the Sheila na gig, the enigmatic figure, and echoes of initiation rites. On the surface, Christian motifs. Beneath, lessons of morality, initiation, and hidden knowledge. In Section 3, we will explore the remaining symbols, showing how the cave became a secret classroom, preserving truths brought from the Holy Land.